Because maybe you're one of those people who really needs the help, who needs this zero carb, high fat, carnivore, lion diet, ancestral diet, radical self-healing. That's what I call it, because that's what it did for me. So in this video, I'm going to answer some of your questions.
Eat your fatty meat, drink your water.
I put up my first videos Wednesday before last, and I've already had so many questions, and that proves to me that people are hungry for this information. I'm going to race through 10 questions. If you have any more questions, or if you want me to make a video to elaborate on any of the questions that I'm going to be giving my answers to, please drop it in the comments. I love you. If I can give you an impetus and a reason or any advice that you need in order for you to get what I got, I'm here for it. That's what I'm here for, to help, to be of service. So, in the next video, I'm going to tell you my carnivore journey, but for now, suffice to say, I've been working with this since September 2019, and this September 2017, you see, it's the dyscalculia. In the other videos, I said that this September I'm going to be celebrating 7 years. It's not. It's 6 years. And what a journey it's been, and what a lot I've learned, and completely reversed 2 autoimmune diseases that were diagnosed, and goodness knows how many else that weren't diagnosed. I couldn't afford at the time to go and have more tests. I knew everything I needed to know. After 28 years of symptoms and doctors telling me it was stress, I finally got a diagnosis, and it was for rheumatoid arthritis and Sjögren syndrome, basically autoimmune disease. I had 40 symptoms that over a couple of years I ticked off the list. 1 or 2, the mental stuff, I'm afraid it took a bit more than meat. But meat healed me to the point where I could at least start looking at that stuff. So, 10 carnivore questions coming up. Could you please describe a typical day of eating when you first started? With pleasure. A typical day of eating when I first started would involve absolutely nose to tail. I ate liver, I ate some heart, I tried brains. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. When I started eating like this, I would stand in the butcher and cry from behind my sunglasses. I always wear sunglasses outside, and especially in the early days, because I was extremely light intolerant, like to the max. So there were a lot of tears, and there was a lot of nose to tail. It took me a minute. I think I only really started going high fat probably at about month 2 or 3 even. And that was just because I was so mortally underweight that I started to eat marrow. And when I started to do marrow, that was when the weight started to come on. And listen, I'm still a skinny little bitch, but I still see my slippers, but I'm naturally small. I'm not saying everybody's going to get as skinny as this. And honestly, that's the only reason why I was doing FAFO diet. I'm going to approach all of this in my next video. Question number 2. What do you cook your meat in? I cook my meat in tallow that I render from suet. Either make marrow butter, beef butter, or this rendered tallow, or the fat. Let me go and grab it. This is rendered fat with still some of the fat bits in. So frying with this is a sweet golden delight. Frying with this is a cleaner. Honestly, I can find this a little bit overpowering sometimes. Too much of it can make me a little bit queasy. So I did show you in a previous video how I make the chunks of suet, and in a very soon to follow video, I'm going to show you how I render the hard fat out of it. Check this out. Okay, because it's when you can see it's like absolutely solid. Right, so that's that. Question number 3. You're talking about getting enough fat. Do you add that? Do you add it just to your meat, or do you have butter? I do have butter sometimes. Currently, I'm doing lion diet, fatty meat, salt, water. I'm on day 30 today, and the transition from dairy, butter, etc., mainly yogurt, to be honest. I was kind of using that as a bit of a comfort food, a snacky poo. So I had to get off that. I did have a little bit of a transition. To be honest, I've still got a little bit of a headache. And when I'm on day 90, I'll do a full video update. So no, some people do have butter and it works very well for them. For me, not that great, not optimal, but food addict. If I have a thing of butter in my freezer, I will be there lobbing chunks off. I put it in my dreaded coffee. Okay, whoa, reverse. Meat, fat, salt, water, coffee. Okay, that's going to, we'll tackle that at some other point. Right, question number 4. I just can't stick to it. How do you? You know how I stick to it? Because I've done FAFO. That's why. I did 3 years, 2 months, hardcore, strict carnivore, trying to introduce some other dairy, etc., but strict lion diet, basically. And as I say, I'll address that in another video. But because I have FAFO'd, I stick to it because of how my body feels. So if you're starting, please just hang in. Transition can be a bitch. End of chat. At least it was for me. Also, a lot of people sail through transition. Experiment of 1. I am an experiment of 1. You will be an experiment of 1. Or you are an experiment of 1. So that's one way to stick to it. The other way I stuck to it was to reach out for support. I spoke in a previous video about using the Facebook groups. And what I didn't speak about, because what I was so fortunate to have my sister, bestie, teacher, carnivore coach in America when I'm in South Africa. And she was the one who on the phone said to me, you have to try 30 days of carnivore. Because she was clever. She said, you have to try 30 days, knowing I needed 90. But if I got through the first 30, I would have enough to keep me going, enough improvements to keep me going. Because she knew, because she'd been through it herself. But how realistic is it to expect that you can find somebody the way I had somebody who for free was on the other end of the call when I was crying, when I was depressed. When is it going to start? I had a lot of healing initially. Strange little things, skin, weird stuff. But the major things that I wanted, brain fog, vertigo, took about 8 months before I started to go, okay, I'm starting to wake up in the morning feeling normal. And she was there for me. Lucretia was there for me every inch. It's just saying, hang in, hang in, hang in. The big things take longer. So I had her. I would encourage you, if you can afford it, get a coach. I had it for free because I was given what I needed. I didn't have money, and I did have desperation, and I did have somebody who loved me, who was there for me. And if you have to pay for that, do that. And if you're lucky enough to find someone the way I did, lean into them. If they say, I love you, I'm here for you, believe them and accept their help. Right. Question number 5 is actually in Afrikaans. Sy sê, ek sukkel met moegheid in die oggende. Het jy enige raad vir dit? I am struggling with tiredness in the morning. Do you have any advice for that? Keep going, keep going, keep going. How long have you been eating this way? How strict are you? When you've racked up, in my estimation, 3 months of lion, meat, fat, salt, water, and the dreaded, if you absolutely need it, it seems like the carnivore community condones caffeine. That's a nice little tongue twisting. The carnivore community condones caffeine. The carnivore community condones caffeine as long as it's organic, freshly ground, and obviously no sugar, no, what are those sugar, neurotoxic, false sugar things. I can't even remember what they're called anymore. But if you can stick as close and as strict for as long as possible, at least 3 months, you're going to see everything is going to change. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionalist. I'm a successful experiment of one. Now you. Question number 6. I would love to see a video where you show us what we can prepare for when we are away from home. I've got you. I've got you. I've got you. I've got you. For now, all I can say is steaks cut up, made into, tiny strips and beautifully oiled and salted. And by oil, I mean animal fat. Those are great because you can eat them cold. And also little meatballs. So that's what I use when I'm on the road, because these are things that you can eat cold. What are your tips for getting off the coffee and the chocolate? Did you do it gradually yourself? Coffee, I am now down to maximum 2 cups a day. So I make a little espresso in this, and then I have it as an Americano. That's how I do my coffee, and you can see it so at hand because I have had one this morning. Today I'm only going to have one because it's Sunday. So I'm afraid I can't speak on coffee, but I will take you through my journey when one day I eventually managed to give it up. I tried to give it up twice. The headaches weren't worth it. The moods weren't worth it. So I used that as my excuse to carry on drinking coffee, but we'll get to that when we get to it. I'm afraid I can't help you there. Getting off the chocolate, I know that sugar, like coffee, is a drug, sugar is a drug. I can't help you with that except to say that the further away from it you get, the less you have that sensory memory, and eventually, I promise you, never a day goes by for me where I go, you know what I feel like? A chocolate. And if you had to force feed me a chocolate now, I would be asking you for another one in an hour. That's all I can say. How do I stop from feeling nauseous from eating fat? Start low and go slow. Start off by eating all the fat on your meat. And of course, cooked in rendered fat. And then after that, start adding a little bit. Go and have a look at my suet chunks video. I'll link it in the caption. And have just enough until you like, you know, and then the next time you can have a little bit less than that. And then allow your body. Fat adapting can take time. And it can be pretty gross. I'll be honest, it can be pretty gross. Right, what else have we got? Number 9, when did your digestion change? Before I discovered Lion Diet and strict carnivory, I was always just a little bit nauseous, or my stomach was distended, or I had some rumbling, or like a sour feeling. There was always my body would always give me some response. And honestly, from the beginning of eating this way, that's why I suggest to people, have one carnivore meal a day. Start with one carnivore meal a day, meaning animal products, not cooked in any seed oils or vegetable oils, not garnished, no tomato on the side just to make it pretty. I'm sorry. I ate the rainbow for decade after decade after decade, and the rainbow was eating me. One carnivore meal a day, I would make it breakfast, and hold off on eating your lunch for as long as you possibly can, so that you can monitor how you feel. Are you burping? Are you ting? I don't know why I'm trying to be so delicate. Are you burping? Are you farting? You know how you burp after a normal meal, and you can relive the experience like a deja vu. The garlic and the onions and everything that you've put into it. Number 10, what were the biggest challenges when starting the carnivore diet? I don't know. I was so challenged. I was 3/4 dead. I was 3/4 dead when I started this. I don't remember the challenges, but what I imagine, okay, these are some challenges that I know you could have, is if you're living with somebody else and they are a carboholic, sugar addicted, and they are bringing stuff into the house, which is irresistible when you've still got the little sugar eating monster in your tummy asking for more, because you are underfed. You are not giving the nutrients that you need. And 2, that they can also be saying, this is ridiculous, and well, my doctor says, and cholesterol is this and that. So all I can say is get some support. Get your support with the groups, and get somebody to be your coach and cheerleader from the sides if you can. So I hope that all of this has helped. If you drop me a question, I will reply to it. If you have anything that you want to share, your own healings, your own experience with this diet, good or bad, drop it in the comments. Really, consider me your meat mom. I'm here for you. I love you. I want you to thrive. And with what meat has given me my life back, this is what I'm doing now, is I'm paying it back. So, like, share, follow, subscribe. Really, the more help you give me, the more you empower us to give this help to more people. All right? And I do believe that people need to know this. I'm not a man of science. I am this experiment of one, successful experiment of one. And I would love the same for you.